real estate is fun when it's done right.
We have so many beautiful areas of our city.
Best part about us is that we're a lot of fun.
You know, here's a common scenario we're running into a lot right now, which is millennials, they're getting a little bit older, they're starting to have kids, and so priorities are shifting.
We need a yard. We need a garage.
Yeah. And the townhouse doesn't quite work, carrying the stroller up and down the stairs all the time with no storage.
Yep.
So, what do? You have to sell the townhouse to buy the next house.
Yeah.
And our market is crazy.
Yeah.
So, what do you do? How do you do it?
Well, we've got kind of a few options, some that are awesome, and then some that are very stressful and are not the best. And so we'll run you through those and kind of explore them together. First would be our option to sell your current house first. And what that looks like is maybe finding a rental, maybe finding an Airbnb, something that you can sort of transition into easily. We free up the cash from the current house so that you're not saddled with that. It doesn't count on your lending side, so your debt to income ratio, and you just know exactly what you have and you know exactly what you're moving with. The negatives with that are having to move twice, going through the process of sort of, mixing your life up for a little bit, and not everybody's suited for that.
Another option you might have is you can pull money out of your house using a HELOC option or do a bridge loan. This is a good option, but it does come with a little bit of risk. What this looks like is you find the next house. You have a bridge loan set up prior to you looking, or a HELOC, whatever, and you're gonna use that money from the current house to do the down payment on the next house. But there's a caveat. Your income has to be able to support both homes. Usually the lender will allow you to go up to like 45% of your income goes toward a loan. That might be a limiting factor for you. Maybe you can't quite get that big of a next house using this option. Yeah. But the other thing is you also run into an issue if your house doesn't sell. Now, that doesn't happen so frequently these days, but it does happen sometimes. And this runs into a problem about 6 months out. If your house hasn't sold with a bridge loan, you have to refinance it and you have to be able to put it back into a normal loan. If it's a HELOC, well, you're just paying kind of a lot every month until you figure out what you're doing with your house that didn't sell, or you reassess your price. So there's a little bit of risk involved on that one. However, it does allow you to find the next house, move out, which is ideal. And the reason that's ideal is because more buyers can go to your house, you can stage it, it's gonna look amazing, you'll probably get a better price out of your current house. But again, there can be downside as well. Another thing we're seeing quite a bit these days is parents giving the money to their kids. The parents actually get to lessen their tax burden for any kind of inheritance by transferring it through real estate. And then obviously for the kids, there's advantages, which is I just got a lot of money from my parents, and that means my monthly costs are lower. This is idyllic because obviously you can keep the other house. The parents help front the money on the other side, which makes it affordable to do. And again, the goal is always to be able to move out of your current house, leave it empty, move into the new house, and then we sell the old house and we're able to paint, we're able to spruce it up, stage it, and make sure that you actually get the maximum return on your current house as well. There's one impossible option that isn't even worth considering.
Doing a contingent offer on another property, meaning your current house has to sell before you can buy the next house, would be our fourth and final option. And unfortunately, it's not a productive option in our market. And here are reasons why it does work. You move one time, you have limited liabilities because you're having to sell one to get to the other. And it can be, in a very, very perfect, ideal, amazing, incredible world that kind of doesn't exist in Seattle, an option. The reasons why it's not a great option would be, truthfully, because you're being put in kind of a bad scenario. So on the buy side, you're trying to buy the house. The seller has to accept that your house needs to sell first So when it comes to that, the seller's taking on a lot of burden, and you're going to end up paying more for that new house that you're buying because there's more risk for the seller.
Well, and remember, they probably are going to have 10 offers on their house. So
Yeah.
the likelihood of them taking your offer is
Look.
pretty much zero.
It's not here, it's not here.
Yeah, it's zero. So this option used to work in Seattle back when the market was a little more even.
Yeah.
50-50 advantage to either the buyer or seller. But right now, I mean, let's face it, it's a totally seller's market. This option is not really an option, but it is something you probably have heard about, so worth explaining.
Yeah.
But in our market, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You should probably contact us with a lot of advance notice. There should be at least 6 months, I would say, before you intend to sell.
Like this much.
Ow! The reason is we need to help figure out planning and what is going to work and what is possible. You also need to brace yourself a little bit. It's not easy to find a house right now. Truth is, everybody's kind of needing to do the same thing. And until they find the house, they can't sell the house. Therefore, inventory is lower and lower and lower. So when you're ready for your next step, we're happy to talk it through with you and figure out what will work for you specifically.